Today's Murli is about this law that at the time of destruction, those who have a loving intellect will be victorious, and those who will have a non-loving intellect will go to destruction. So this is in Hindi, this law is told as Vinash Kale Preet Buddhi Vijayanti. Vinash Kale Vipreet Buddhi Vinashayanti. And Baba is telling us that Baba is just like Baba says that I interpret everything for you because you have heard many things, but you don't know or don't stay in the awareness of the meaning contained in it. And Baba is explaining the meaning of this. And what does victorious mean? So Baba says when we say those who have a loving intellect at the time of destruction will be victorious. So Baba interprets the word being victorious for us. And Baba says being victorious means to go to the new world and claim a high status there. So Baba says those who will claim a high status in the new world, Satyug, that is called being victorious. And who will claim a high status? Those who have loving intellects. Now Baba talks about the signs of a loving intellect. Okay, because when you ask any child of Baba, do you love Baba? They will say yes. But not that, you can just claim that I have a loving intellect with Baba by, living in this idea that I have a loving intellect. But Baba is giving us very clear signs, you can check for yourself whether you have a loving intellect or not. But before that, Baba says, this is told about the time of destruction. So, do you understand that this is the time of destruction? Yes, and you see, when the yajna started, when Baba came from the world above, at that time it was very difficult to understand that this is the time of destruction because there were not many indications. But now if you look around, you just look around at the state of the world right now. So Baba is also talking about wars today. And it was such a relief to hear that, in the new world, there will be no wars. So you see, this world is all the signs of destruction, the wars, the natural calamities, the unpredictability of nature, the unpredictability of human behavior. Everything is pointing towards the truth that this is the time of destruction. And only yesterday I was talking to one Baba's child, and they are in a place which is having a lot of upheavals because of the war right now. And then they were telling me that, Didi, whenever we think, Baba says, remember me and remember your new world. So it is so heartening to think about our new world. Because, whenever I think about the new world that is to come, I feel that there will be none of this, this upheaval, this chaos, this war, or, untimely death. And then that child of Baba was telling me, you see, Didi, war is one thing, but otherwise also, this world is a world of untimely death and disease. And, whenever we hear that somebody died at the age of 40 or 30 or 25 or 60 or 70, and that somebody is having a very chronic illness at a young age or even at old age. So, and how they are suffering, and how people lose themselves in such times, then thinking about just bringing this into our awareness, that in the new world there won't be anything of this kind. This fills me with so much of hope and happiness. So you see that this time is the time of destruction. And Baba says you can see it all around you. And Baba also says that, at this time, people are spending their money, giving their time, energy, and basically everybody is creating weapons of destruction out of that. So, whatever you are, so whether in the name of self defense or anything, but basically everything is going to the creation of weapons of destruction. But Baba says here, Baba has come and Baba is creating a new world. And Baba is telling us children that now you have to use your everything for the purpose of creation. Yes, do you understand that whatever we are, using in the whether we are doing anything for the economy or paying taxes or whatever, everything is eventually going to be used for weapons of destruction. Because ultimately, when there is the scene of destruction, then all the resources will go towards creating, a defense system or whatever, and that is all going to lead to destruction anyway. And I was just thinking about these 2 points that Baba is giving about the current time, and just think about the karma. So, whatever we are investing in as stocks or everything, in the world, is all that money is going to destruction. Or, we are working hard, we think that we are working and contributing to the economy and everything, and ultimately everything is going to be a karma for which we are creating the karma of investing everything in the weapons of destruction. But that is inevitable. You have to go to work, you have to earn money. But Baba says again, make conscious choices that now our body, mind, and wealth is used for the purpose of creation, for Baba's task, for which Baba has come from the world beyond. And Baba is telling us that now there are clear signs, and this is the time of destruction. And second is, if you want to be victorious, that is, if you want to claim a high status in the world of heaven, then what you have to do is you have to have a loving intellect. Now you see, this loving intellect, and Baba is specifying the signs of a loving intellect. And I was just thinking that, in the world, there is a culture right now where everybody is saying, I love you, but there are no signs. So, yes, so people are saying, I love you, but I can't forgive you. I love you, but I can't tolerate you. I love you, but I'm not up for any adjustment. Yes, or I love you, but I cannot wish well for you because you hurt me. So, you see that this is the kind of love we engage in. So, this whole act of loving has now reduced to just saying I love you. Otherwise there are no signs. So we don't think that our thought, word, and act should be loving. So we just think that telling somebody I love you is enough for love. And it has also become the other side of it is, if somebody says I love you and doesn't do anything other than that, then also people live in the illusion that they love me, even when there are no signs. And if somebody is not saying I love you, but there are clear signs, then you keep questioning whether they love me or not. So this is both ways, So our whole intellect, this is the sign of a corrupt intellect. So a corrupt intellect cannot discern between true and false, even when it is true love and false love. So, and I will tell you one thing. So there is, so I am giving this example because there's a young girl and she came to the center and she told me that my father hates me and my boyfriend loves me. And I said, okay, so how do you know that? So she said, my boyfriend is always around. He's always, taking care of me and he's asking whether I'm fine. So I said, okay. And what does the boyfriend do? So he doesn't do anything. He lives on her income. And then he has that boyfriend and his dog. They do both live on her income and she's the one who earns. And then, she feeds the dog, she feeds the boyfriend. And then the boyfriend is only asking, are you fine? Let me get you a glass of water. Let me just take care of you. But the father, he's the one, funding everything. And the father is doing everything, but the father is rude. So the father is the one who hates her, and the boyfriend is the one who loves her. So I told her, just sever your ties with your father and see how loving your boyfriend is. Because when there is no money, he will leave you. So she said that, no, he has a good heart. He's always around. Says he is not around for you. He's around for the resources he's getting. So then, it took such a long time for her to understand what is actually love, because we are so blinded by false emotions. So do you understand that emotions are coming from impure sanskars that we have created in these 63 births? So if you have created the sanskar of feeling a certain way in a certain situation, mind is thinking by association, then you start feeling like that. You start having such emotions, but that doesn't mean that that's true. So you need, so Baba today also says that I am the one who tells you the truth. And this truth and falsehood are very different from each other. And only when we understand the truth from Baba, we imbibe it, we have Buddhi Yoga with Baba, then we are able to have the power of discernment. We are able to discern true from false. Otherwise, our false emotions, our false belief systems, our false interpretations, they are all deceiving us in a big way. So Baba tells us this. And then the first sign that Baba today talks of a loving intellect is that you do not become lovers of bodily beings. You have love for only Baba. So your intellect is not attached to bodily beings. And Baba says, if you are soul conscious, so you have a loving intellect. You cannot have a loving intellect with Baba in body consciousness. So the first qualification for a loving intellect is you know yourself as you are, you know Baba as he is. And then you become soul conscious and have love for Baba. Now when you're soul conscious, then your third eye is open, and then you know that all these bodily beings around you, they are just co-actors in the drama. You understand that they are not my mother, father, spouse, children. These are just roles we are playing. And Baba says that so you have love for the one who you have a relationship with, and you have love for the one who gives you attainments. Okay? And Maya, so truth and true love are related. So only when there is truth in your intellect can you have true love. If there is falsehood in your intellect, that falsehood will trap you in false love. So Baba says that now you have the truth in your awareness about who do I have all relationships with. So first, who am I? Second, who is the one who I have all relationships with. Third is, who is the one who I have all attainments from. So, in Ravan Rajya, Maya puts us into the illusion that these bodily beings are your relations. And then Maya also puts you into the illusion that you are receiving all attainments from bodily beings. Yes, so you think you are receiving love from human beings, or peace or happiness from surroundings or attainments. But Baba clarifies this for us, that in this world, everyone and everything is depleted, patit, and nobody is actually sustaining you with the power of relationship or power of attainment. Yes, let me give you two examples for this. Do you know that when you think that you have a very good relationship with a human being, so especially in marriages, when you think that you are a great couple and you have a lot of love between yourselves, so if you think that my marriage or my relationship with my spouse is one of deep love, then in that marriage, after one spouse leaves the body, the other one dies in a very short time. So just think about, the one who you think was a good relationship is the cause of your early death. And you think that they were empowering you or they were sustaining you. But if you are actually receiving sustenance, what will you become? You will become strengthened. But we are not receiving strength from our relationships. We are not receiving fearlessness, or we are not becoming free from worry, or we are not becoming immortal or pure, or these things are not coming from bodily relationships. What people are becoming in bodily relationship is more fearful, more worried. And the survey says that the major cause of stress in life is bodily relationships. And it's not just those relationships which are seemingly troubling you. So, when relationships are seemingly troubling you, when you have unfavorable relationships, of course you're suffering. But then, even when relationships are very good, when you are attached to them, then what happens is, you, instead of empowering yourself, you're depleting yourself because you're worrying too much. You are in fear that, I shouldn't lose this person, or you're worried about them, about their well being, about something. And then this is the cause of stress. Yes, and then when they leave you, then more stress because you don't know how to live with them. Yes, so Baba says that all these relationships, they are not true relationships. These are relationships of karmic settlement. So because we have a burden of karma on us, so all our relationships today are a product of that karmic burden. And because of that, all relationships are founded on vices, and they are not the source of happiness. We have been deluded into thinking that they are the source of happiness, but they are not. So Baba says Baba doesn't say you leave the relationships, because of course you have to settle the karmic accounts. But Baba says in the relationships you have to be detached and loving. You don't have to think that, this relationship is going great because there's a lot of attachment. No. Then you leave the other person very miserable, or they leave you very miserable. So that is not a good relationship. And Baba says that is why now you understand that I am a soul and my only relationship is with Baba. Because Baba is the one who fills me with knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, power. Just think about this relationship with Baba. Baba comes and we belong to Baba for one birth, and then for 21 births we are on our own. We don't depend on anything. There is no untimely death, no disease. Baba frees us from all of this, and Baba strengthens us so much in this one birth of Sangam Yuga. And just look at what other relationships and our relationship with them have done to them and ourselves. So now when we understand, we do not have that, that deep love, that love of the intellect for souls. We understand that yes, we have to be there for them, they are there with us, but we have to be detached and loving. And then second thing is, Baba says, you think that you are receiving attainments from people, they are giving you, but Baba says everything that they are giving you is temporary. So if somebody is giving you support or money or help or anything, that's all temporary. And you think that they are giving you love, peace and all, but they are not, because they are themselves empty. Anybody who is empty cannot give you peace, love, happiness, and more so, you cannot have peace, love and happiness without having purity. Purity is the foundation of peace and happiness. And we are in the illusion of the temporary peace and happiness we feel in their company. But Baba says, no, that is all depleting you. So Baba says, those who know me as I am and truly love me, those who have loving intellects with me, those who are in awareness of the truth. True love is a product of truth, true state. So those who are in true state, they know what true love is. And Baba says, true love is only with me. And those children don't get caught up in the love of bodily beings. So they live with everybody, but they know who they love. How do we understand the difference between the relationships of karmic settlements and the relationship of karma sambandh? There is no karma sambandh right now. Karma sambandh is in Satyug. Karma sambandh is not here. Every relationship is a relationship of karmic settlement. And only when we are in seva, and that too, if we are detached and loving, sometimes you can also be in seva but very attached. So when we are in seva, we are creating karam sambandh, because now you are taking from Baba and serving the soul, and then tomorrow they will come into a relationship with you in which they will give you permanent happiness, in the world of happiness, because you are creating that relationship now through seva. But right now, you have to be very careful. You don't have to think that this is karam sambandh. No. Only when you are in awareness, you are creating that karam sambandh. The moment you lose your awareness, it starts changing into a karam bandhan. So again, Brahmins take sorrow from Brahmins also. Yes, so how can Brahmins take sorrow from Brahmins? Because you are not staying in awareness about what is the purpose of this relationship. The purpose of relationship is not that they should make me feel good and I should make them feel good. The purpose of this relationship is we uplift each other. So we rise above the drishti of seeing weaknesses and uplift each other, or support each other through knowledge and yoga. That is the relationship we have. But again, sometimes we forget that, and then Brahmins start taking sorrow from Brahmins. So that is also there. And then second sign that Baba tells us is those children, they will be honest with Baba. Yes, so the sign of having a loving intellect is being honest, not hiding anything from Baba. Yes, so just think about how honest you are with Baba. Yes, so what is honesty? So when we come to Baba, we realize that whatever I thought was mine actually belongs to Baba. So you sign this contract, with your heart, that Baba, I am yours and whatever is mine is yours. And then being honest with Baba means never using anything that you thought was yours earlier without Baba's directions. So it's not like my time, my energy, my thought, my money, my capacities. No. Baba says, always use everything on Srimad. That is honesty with Baba. Yes, so one aspect of honesty is being a trustee. So just like, when you go to work, what is honesty in the office? Being a trustee is honesty in the office. So because you are given everything in trust in the office. So it is not about whether you're speaking the truth or not. But if you are not using resources according to the law, then that's not honesty. So Baba says honesty in thought, word, and act. So not just honesty in thought or honesty of intention, but also honesty of action. And honesty in action is, doing using every resource on Baba's Srimad. So, if you're sleeping at Amrit Vela, that's not honesty with Baba. So, Baba says that, your time, that time is mine and you cannot be dishonest with me. So, that is one interpretation. Second is, speak the truth always. Yes, so that is also honesty with Baba, because Baba has taken so much effort to fill us with truth. So never speak what's false. Yes, so Baba never tells us that, what is Baba today tells something very interesting. One is, in one place, Baba says, I always speak the truth and I never tell I'm omnipresent. Yes, so never utter from your mouth that which is not true according to Gyan. So whatever is true according to Gyan, however much, anybody tells you that, God is God, everybody has a different God and whoever they think is God for them. You cannot say, yes, that's true. You will say, no, but the truth is that God is one and God is just a point of light. So Baba says, always speak the truth in this sense. Second, honesty is, Baba says, whenever you speak, in relationships, when you come, then Baba says, true words are words that uplift. If something is putting someone down, then that's not true words. That definition also Baba has given today. Third interpretation is, never go against spiritual laws. So today Baba says, I will never tell you that if you don't follow the Father also, you will get a high status. Yes, so I remember there was this one doctor, and then there was a patient, and that patient kept asking, what if I, just don't take care of this much, this whatever you have told me, if I don't take care of this, don't pay attention to this parhez, this, I'd eat this, or I go overboard in this, what will happen? Then this doctor kept saying, you will fall ill then. So then this Mata, she wanted to hear that it's okay, if you do this one wrong thing also, it will not affect your health. But the doctor kept saying, no, if you don't do what I say, you will fall ill. Then this Mata said, you're not blessing me. So the doctor said, I cannot bless you with my words. You have to bless yourself with your deeds. So Baba says, never tell lies never tell lies about spiritual laws. If somebody asks you that if I'm not remembering Baba, still can I go and find a good place in heaven? You have to say no. That will not happen. And Baba says, this is speaking the truth. And then giving your honest chart to Baba every day, because you're a trustee. So you have to submit your chart every day. That is honesty with Baba. And this is the sign of a loving intellect, second sign of a loving intellect. Then third sign is, those who have a loving intellect will get up at Amrit Vela and sit and churn on Baba's knowledge in great love for Baba. They will be in Baba's remembrance, and with great love for Baba, they will churn the points of knowledge in Amrit Vela, and that will fill them with happiness. So this is another sign. And Baba says, not like you get up at Amrit Vela and then you're dozing off half the time, and that is not a sign of love. So, when you are meeting the one you love, then you're wide awake. Yes, it's not like you are dozing half and then you meet the one you have love for in your heart. No, Baba says, if you love me, if you have a loving intellect, then you will look forward to the time of Amrit Vela. You will be wide awake and you will have true meeting with me by churning on my points of knowledge in my remembrance. And that will fill you with a lot of happiness. So this is third sign. Then fourth sign is they will give their bones in service like Dadhichi Rishi. So Baba says, Baba, those children who have love for Baba, they have love for Baba's task. And they will surrender themselves, with body, mind and wealth completely for Baba's task. They will give their bones, they will give their, thought, with their thought, word and deed, they will always keep serving Baba. So they will never think that, this is my time of rest, this is my time of entertainment. No, their life is for Baba's service. And that is the sign of a loving intellect. And I have not seen these signs in very few children except, the seniors didis. Yes, so, I have seen this sign in senior didis of the Yagya. And those sisters I have seen, those didis, they have this loving intellect for Baba, and the sign is they are giving their bones for service. Even at the age of 80, you see them, they don't get tired, they don't get, they are not talking about what their body needs or what their, what are their needs. They are always talking about what the yagya needs, and you can see that in action. And only, those who have given their bones to Baba's service, their bones will support them in service even at the end. This is the law. Otherwise, mostly souls will serve Baba, physically and every which way. But if you don't have a loving intellect, then in the end, the body will fail. The body will become an obstacle in service. But if you have always surrendered the body will in seva, then the body will always help you in doing seva until the end. If you have surrendered the mind, if you've always remembered Baba, even at the end time, you will not have mental diseases that will interfere in remembrance of Baba. Yes, or if you have surrendered your wealth, you will not be in a position where you don't have enough to take care of, your effort or Baba's seva. So these are signs. So this is the fourth sign. And the fifth sign, Baba tells us, their intellects don't wander in worldly matters. And Baba says that, there are many children whose intellects wander in worldly matters. They utter these words that, I miss going to the movies, or I miss going at this entertainment or that entertainment. And thoughts become things. So if you are missing something, you will attract them because you're thinking about them. And then those situations will come which will again make you go back to the old world and you will leave Baba. So Baba says, those children will not be victorious who don't go until the end. And these pulls of worldly matters, this eating, roaming, wearing, entertainment, these things, gossiping, these worldly matters, those who have interests in these things, they will be pulled by these worldly matters eventually. And they will lose their status because the status will be only attained when our final destination, at the final stage, we are in deep love with Baba. So Baba says that these are the signs of those who have a loving intellect, and only those will become victorious. Okay, so there is an announcement that from tomorrow onwards, we will begin the class 1 hour earlier at 6:30 sharp. So instead of 7:30 to 8:30 IST, we will have it 6:30 to 7:30 IST. So if you are not in the Indian Standard Time Zone, so whichever time you join, 1 hour before that, you have to join. Okay. Om Shanti. So anybody wants to share anything, please do. One
Om
sec.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
From today's movie, what I understood is that we all believe in true love, and we very well know that what the other one should do for us in love. But sometimes we, before coming of Baba, we misunderstood love because we were always seeing the other side. And we were beggars at that time. And what we are giving, and that is reflecting from that we never noticed.
Correct.
And sometimes people who consider to be true lover, they tell everything. They support very well. And first they do, and then they tell afterwards. And they say, we are honest. If I am not honest, how I will tell all these things? How I am keeping this transparency?
Correct.
And earlier, my mouth was always shut on this statement. But now I give the answer. Okay, being transparent and being honest is different. If you are telling the transparency,
correct,
then I am also telling that don't do this. And you are doing it repeatedly, that is not honesty.
Correct. Correct.
And that is what today Baba also said that walking on path of directions, that is true love.
Right.
True surrender.
Correct. Yes. But that cannot happen with human beings. And that shouldn't happen with human beings also. Yes, because even when you do it with human beings, what you receive is sorrow at the end. Because
we are very fortunate that we got Baba.
Yes, correct. That's
and
true.
We automatically will become soul conscious till end.
Yes, we are making
everything
effort.
Is getting exposed.
Yes. It's the third eye is open now, so you can see what you couldn't see earlier. Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Om Shanti.